Alrighty, so to get things started on Unit 4, Day 4, solving multi-step inequalities, it has us doing a quick review over how to solve equations, basic equations. And as you remember, okay, we're going to subtract the constant from both sides, and that's going to leave us with 4 equals negative 2x, and then we divide each side by negative 2. And that's going to leave us with negative 2 equals x. So we have this. Alright, now on number 2, in order to get to this part up here, we have to get rid of the 3 down here. So that's going to be a multiplication by 3 on both sides to knock that that quotient apart. Okay, and that's going to leave us with q plus 7 equals 63. And then we're going to subtract 7 from each side. Okay? And then that's going to leave us with q equals, let's see, that's going to be 56. And there it is. Alright, now, this part of the review, okay, is just a quick little recap of what we've done for the last 3 days. Okay, just simply how to solve inequality. Now, on number 3, we divide by negative 4. So therefore, we've got 3 is less than x. If you recall, when we divide by a negative, we have to flip our sign. Okay, on number 4, we subtract 3 from both sides, and that's going to be r greater than or equal to 8. And then on number 5, we're going to divide each side by 4, leading us to have m less than or equal to negative 4. And some of you are like, whoa, hang on. There was a negative, we divided, shouldn't we flip the sign? No. Okay? Only if we divide by a negative. So if this 4 was a negative, then yes, we would flip the sign. But in this case, we're dividing by a positive. Okay? And that's where that whole English thing comes into play here. Now we're going to go ahead and add 5 to both sides of this. And that's going to leave us with 3 being greater than g. Alright? And that covers our quick little recap of how to solve this stuff. Now, when we get down here, okay, solve each inequality and graph the solutions. Okay, you have to remember, we're going to solve these pretty much just like our old equations. Okay, all we have to do is add the constant, or get rid of the constant. Okay, in this case, we're going to add 10 to both sides. That's going to leave us with negative 3e being less than or equal to 6. Then we divide each side by negative 3. We're dividing by negative 3, so that means we're going to go e greater than or equal to negative 2. So we put our negative 2 in the middle with a closed dot, and e is bigger, so we're going to go to the right. And there's that. Alright, on number 8, we're going to do pretty much the same thing. Okay? We're going to subtract our constant from both sides, leaving us with c over 2 less than 3. And then we're going to multiply both sides by 2, leaving us with c being less than 6. So we put our 6 in the middle with an open dot, and c is smaller, so we're going to go to the left. Okay? Now, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides on this one. On number 9. And then we're going to go 3/4 of j needs to be greater than 3. And now we're going to multiply it by the reciprocal. If y'all remember correctly, that's going to be the flip of the fraction. So we multiply by 4/3, and that leads us to having j being greater than 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So we can put our 4 right here with an open dot, and j is supposed to be bigger, so we're going to go to the right with it. Okay, number 10. We're going to subtract 3 from both sides of this one. Okay, leaving us with 12 greater than or equal to negative 4s. And from here, we can divide each side by negative 4. Now don't forget, when we divide by a negative, we have to flip that inequality sign, and that's going to leave us with negative 3 being less than or equal to s. So negative 3 goes here. We're going to close in this dot. And s is bigger, so we're going to go to the right. Okay, number 11. Okay, number 11 is not as scary as most people would like to think that it is. Okay, it's just fractions. It's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite number 11 with 18 as the common denominator. So I'm going to have 2/18 minus, let's see, got to multiply by 6 to get 18 on the bottom. Okay, so I multiplied by 6 to get 18. 4 times 6 is 24, so 24/18 of x less than or equal to, let's see, multiply by 3, that's 3/18. Okay, now we're going to subtract 3/18, or 2/18 from both sides, rather. So we subtract 2/18 here. We're going to subtract 2/18. And then that's going to leave us with negative 24 over 18 x less than or equal to 1/18. Now I'm going to multiply both sides of this by 18/24, negative. Okay, so times 18/24, negative. So our 18s cancel, and we are left with x being less than, or actually, whoops. Since I multiplied by a negative on both sides, I have to switch my sign around. And it's going to be greater than or equal to negative 1/24. So we put 1/24 in the middle, negative 1/24, and it's going to be a closed dot, and x needs to be bigger, so we can go off to the right. Okay, now here's the thing, negative 1/24 sounds kind of odd to me, so I actually kind of want to go back and double check this one, okay, just to make sure that I'm right. Okay, so you take the negative 1/24 and you plug it in, and that's going to give, wow, okay, that's going to be 1/9 minus 4/3 times 1/24, negative. Okay, so it's going to be 1/9 plus, and then let's see, 24 times 3, 12, 6, 72. So 4/72. Okay, which is going to be 8/72. Okay, so that's going to be 12/72. Okay, and then we divide each of those by, let's go with, let's see. I bet that 6 will go in there pretty evenly. Or better yet, 12 will go in there. And that's 1/6. And lo and behold, that part's correct. And if we tried to plug in something a little bit bigger, we would wind up with it being less than 1/6. So, we are dead on with this. And I've already checked I've already checked 0 for this. So 1/9 is less than 1/6. If you check it, it works. There we go. Okay? So anytime that you wind up with a answer that seems a little suspect to you, don't be afraid to go in and check it. It's useful. It's helpful. It helps you get these questions right. So go for it. Okay? Now, number 12, we're going to subtract 3. We subtract 3, that's -4, being greater than -x. Divide each side by -1, leaving us with 4 being less than x. So we have 4 in the denominator with an open dot, and x is bigger, so we're going to go to the right. It goes like that. And there it is. Now, number 13. We're going to do much like what we used to do. Okay? We're going to do our distribution first, and that's going to be 8 less than or equal to -8 plus 4x. And then we're going to add 8 to both sides, leaving us with 16 being greater than or equal to 4x. Then we divide each side by 4, leaving us to have ourselves 4 greater than or equal to x. So we're going to go with a 4 in the middle, a closed dot, and x is smaller, so we're going to go that way. And done. Alright, now, number 14. We got y less than or equal to 2 on the outside of -3m minus 5. When y equals -28. And a lot of y'all are like, whoa, wait. There are 2 variables there. We can't do anything. We're done. No, that's not the way this works. We know what y is. It says that y is -28. So we're going to use that to our advantage. Okay? So, -28 goes in place of the y. And we just straight up replace it. 2 on the outside of -3m minus 5. So, now we're going to go ahead and distribute the 2 across. -28 less than or equal to -6m minus 10. And then we're going to add 10 to both sides. So plus 10. And then that's going to leave us with -18 less than or equal to -6m. Now we need to divide each side by -6. Divide by -6. So that's going to leave us with 3 being greater than or equal to m. So we put ourselves a 3 in the middle with a closed dot. Okay, and m is smaller, so we're going to go to the left. And there we have it. Alright, now number 15. We're going to go ahead and hit this with some distribution first. And that's going to give us 3 plus 2x plus 8 greater than 3. Now we're going to combine our like terms. So that's going to be 2x plus 11 greater than 3. And now we're going to subtract 11 from both sides. And that's going to lead us to have 2x greater than negative 8. Okay? And then from there, what we can do is we can go ahead and divide it by 2 on both sides, leading us to have x greater than negative 4. And again, we only flip the sign if we divide by a negative. That we divided by 2. So that means that the sign stays like it is. Now, x is bigger, so we're going to go to the right. And there we have it. Alright, now number 16 is just like number 14. Alright, so let's see, where are we going to go from here? Easiest first step is going to be our plug-in. So that's going to be negative 10 greater than or equal to 2. And I'm going to go ahead and combine a step here. 2q minus 6 plus 6. I did my distribution, okay? Now, next step, we're going to combine our like terms. So that's negative 10 greater than or equal to 2q. Okay, when we combine these two, that becomes a 0. So that goes away, essentially. And now we divide each side by 2. And we are left with negative 5 greater than or equal to q. So we're going to put a negative 5 here in the middle with a closed dot. And it says that q is smaller, so we're going to go to the left. And there it is. Alright, final stretch here. We got 6 problems left. So, 1/2 of a number increased by 9 is less than 33. So, 1/2 of a number increased by 9, so plus 9, is less than 33. Alright, so we're going to start by subtracting the 9 from both sides. And that's going to be 1/2 in less than, let's see, that's going to be 24. And then we multiply both sides by 2. Multiply both sides by 2, and that's going to be in being less than 48. And there is that answer. And now the next one, we got negative 6 times a number increased by 5 is at least 41. So negative 6 times a number increased by 5 is at least 41. So at the very smallest, it's 41 is what that's saying. So we use that one. We're going to use the greater than or equal to. Now we're going to go ahead and subtract the 5 from both sides on this one. And then that's going to leave us, here, let's go ahead and do that in red so we can kind of make it stand out a little bit here. Okay, and that's going to be negative 6 in greater than or equal to, let's see, if we subtract 5 from 41, that's going to lead us to have 36. Now we can divide by negative 6 on both sides of this equation, leading us to have n less than or equal to negative 6. Okay, now Verizon offers a phone plan back in 2012 that costs $30 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. AT&T offers a plan. AT&T isn't, yeah, okay, so AT&T offers a plan that costs $25 per device. $20 per gig of data and includes unlimited talk and text. If you are still hanging on to your old unlimited plan, for what number of gigs of data would it be better to switch to AT&T's plan rather than staying with Verizon? Okay, now this is actually somewhat useful, right? So let's see, phone plan $30 a month for unlimited talk, text, and everything. So, offers a plan that costs $25 per device and $20 per gig of data. So we're looking for where this is going to be greater than or equal to $25 plus $20 per gig. And includes unlimited talk and text. If you are still hanging on to your old unlimited plan, for what number of gigs of data would it be better to switch to AT&T's plan rather than staying with Verizon? So we're going to go ahead and minus 25 from both sides. Okay, and that's the monthly cost of the phone. And that's going to be 5 greater than or equal to 20G. We divide each side by 20. And 5 divided by 20 is 1/4. Greater than G. So for 1/4 of a gig, which that's like, what, 256 megabytes, give or take? It's going to cost you less with the AT&T. So if you're using like no data at all, AT&T might be a better way to go. But yeah, you're not going to be streaming movies at less than 1/4 gig. So let's see. There we go. Okay. Next thing, number 20. A sales rep is given a choice of 2 paycheck plans. One choice includes a monthly base pay of $300 plus a 10% commission on his sales. The second choice is a monthly salary of $1,200. For what amount of sales would the representative make more money with the first plan? So, what we got to do is do 300 plus 10% commission, so 0.10 S. Okay, and we're looking for what amount of sales would the representative make more money with the first. So we need to make more money than 1,200. Okay, we're looking for where this is more than that. So we're going to subtract 300 from both sides. And that's going to be 0.10 S greater than or equal to 900. We divide each side by 0.1, and that's going to be S greater than or equal to, let's see, move the decimal over 1, move decimal over 1, so S needs to be greater than or equal to $9,000 in sales. Okay, now this would be incredibly useful to know and be able to do on a regular basis, especially if some of y'all go into sales eventually. You need to be able to calculate which paycheck option is better, and often employers offer a multitude of commission sales paychecks. So being able to pick which one relates to your sales and your performance, you know, that's going to be important, and knowing when to change it if you know that certain parts of the year are going to be less as far as sales go. So the area of the triangle is less than 105 square inches. Write and solve an inequality that can be used to find x. Now, if you remember, the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Okay? So, we need the area to be less than 105 square inches. Okay? Right? Okay, so we're going to take what the area equals and set it and put it right here. So A is this is A. So what we're going to say is B times H over 2 needs to be less than 105. Now, the base, as we can plainly see, is 10. Okay, so that's 10 times the height, which is x plus 5, all over 2. Needs to be less than 105. So we're going to start off by multiplying both sides by 2. Multiply by 2, multiply by 2. And then that's going to lead us to have 10 on the outside of, or let's go ahead and combine this step, 10x plus 50. So I went ahead and did my distribution as well. Less than 210. Now I'm going to go ahead and subtract my 50 from both sides. And that's going to be 10x less than, and then let's see, that's going to be 160. Divide each side by 10. Okay, and that's going to be x less than 16. Okay, so x has to be 16, and that means that the height, just as a heads up, 16 plus 5 would be 21. And there it is. Okay, even though it didn't ask for that, we know how to find that now. So x needs to be less than 16. Alright, so, or rather, the height would have to be less than 21, rather. There we go. Okay, so, last one. Okay, this one pertains directly to all of y'all. So, Marcus' test grades are 73, 85, and 98. What must he make on his next test to have an average of at least 90? Okay, so in order to set this up, if you remember correctly, in order to find an average, we need to take the test grades, or just the grades in general, add them together, and since we don't know the fourth test grade, we plug in an x, okay, and there's going to be 4 tests, and we want this number, whatever this winds up being, to be greater than or equal to 90. So now we need to multiply both sides by 4 in order to get to the top part. And that's going to leave us with, let's see, 73, 85, and 98. That winds up being 256 plus x needs to be greater than or equal to 360. So now we need to go ahead and subtract the 256 from both sides. And x has to be greater than or equal to, let's see, 56 to 360, so 60 plus 30, or 44, so 144, or no, oopsie, 60 plus 44, my fault. So in order to make an A average for his tests, he must make a 104 on this test. So, yeah, that's going to be a little tough for him. Alright, so thanks for watching, y'all.